Okay, let's go ahead and begin. Welcome everybody and thank you for joining us. Today we're going to talk about accountable talk in the Common Core classroom. Within the next hour, we will discuss accountable talk and explore some strategies to engage students in accountable talk. Okay, let's activate our prior knowledge with a warm-up activity using talking tokens. Talking tokens support accountable participation in group interactions. Distribute an equal amount of talking tokens to each group member. Let's say everyone gets 2 tokens for this activity. Everyone must spend their talking tokens during the conversation by placing their token in the center of the table after contributing to the conversation. So this helps to monitor interaction and ensure that all group members have an equal opportunity to share their thinking. So let's distribute the tokens equally and begin your group discussion, which is at the center here. What is accountable talk? Provide some examples and explain the rationale. I've provided some sentence starters to get you going down below. Okay, so it sounds like we all have our students communicate and collaborate in some form or other. But why is accountable talk so important right now? Well, first of all, it's at the core of the Common Core. It's really in all subject areas. And second, communication and collaboration are very much embedded in the new California ELD standards. So speaking and listening is great for all students, but critical for our English language learners. And speaking and listening is just a natural prerequisite for reading and writing. As you glance through the language arts standards, you can see where accountable talk fits. Students are being asked to reason with evidence, build arguments and critique the arguments of others, to develop rigorous, conceptually strong, evidence-based thinking practices, and participate in reasoning-oriented practices with others. So what is accountable talk? Well, Lauren Resnick introduced the concept of accountable talk as a means of raising the level of academic discourse among students. Accountable talk governs the norms of academic discourse and requires that students ask for and furnish evidence to support their statements. Accountable talk is not initiate, response, and evaluation, which is by far the most common type of classroom talk in the United States. I'm sure not in our district though. Whereas a teacher or a student, you are probably familiar with the scenario. The teacher asks a question, typically one with a fixed answer. The student replies, usually with a short response, and the teacher evaluates, right or wrong, and then moves on to the next student with a new question. This pattern emphasizes correctness over reasoning. Once a question is answered, conversation shuts down rather than opens up. Accountable talk is intentionally structured talk that promotes learning. How does accountable talk help? Well, talking with others about ideas is fundamental to learning. It gives us the opportunity to organize our thinking, to hear our thinking, and hear others expand on our thinking. But research shows, and teachers know, that simply getting students to talk does not necessarily lead to learning. What matters is what students are talking about and how they talk. If they're simply going through the motions, the talk actually distracts from their learning rather than advancing it. That's why there are 3 dimensions to accountable talk. For classroom talk to promote learning, it must be accountable to the learning community, to accurate and appropriate knowledge, and to rigorous thinking. Accountability to the learning community is about how students talk to each other. Students speak loudly and clearly. If not, they will be asked politely by the teacher and by their peers to repeat or explain what they have said. When students listen, they do not simply think about what they will be saying next. They are not simply sitting quietly just to be respectful. They are active listening. They focus on classmates' contributions so they can understand, challenge, build upon, and refine each other's ideas. In an accountable talk classroom, you will hear students respectfully agree or disagree. They will disagree without being disagreeable, and they will argue without being argumentative. Accountability to accurate knowledge means that when speakers make an observation or a claim, they try to be as specific and accurate as possible. So we're not just talking off the top of our heads. Accountability to accurate knowledge is about what students discuss. They make claims and try to be as specific and accurate as possible. Students ask each other questions such as, how do you know that? Where did you see that in the text? So accountability to accurate knowledge is about getting the facts straight, individually and as a community. Accountability to rigorous thinking has to do with building a line of argument. So students are synthesizing information. They're questioning each other. They're probing. They're asking, is the evidence good? Is the evidence we found sufficient? Is it relevant? They are respectfully challenging each other and building conclusions. Accountability to knowledge and accountability to rigorous thinking do go hand in hand. Accountability to accurate knowledge is finding that text-based evidence, but accountability to rigorous thinking is realizing if that evidence is relevant after synthesizing in a collaborative conversation. As you can see, adhering to these three accountabilities sets the groundwork for rich classroom talk that promotes learning. That's accountable talk. Accountable talk can be seen across grade levels. It's not a separate posted objective. It's infused in daily instructions in every lesson. It's in a variety of classroom forms: whole group, small group, partner talk, or peer or teacher conferences. It will take time and effort to create a classroom filled with accountable talk. It requires teachers to guide and scaffold student participation. We'll need to create norms and model appropriate forms of discussion by questioning and probing and modeling. We could ask for explanations, ask for evidence, or even revoice student statements. So what I hear you saying is ... We could use the gradual release of responsibility model, which is the I do it, we do it, you do it model. And we'll need to make special accommodations for our English learners and for our students with special needs. But more importantly, we'll need to do all of this in a classroom with low effective filters. I know many of us already post and use sentence starters or sentence frames just to get the conversation going and to give students the academic language that we want to hear. Or we also give them some bookmarks which provide them with the sentence starters and sentence frames, again, to have them use the academic language to move beyond social conversations to academic conversations. Now it's time for us to have our own accountable talk discussion. So on a piece of paper, let's go ahead and make a T-chart. At the top, write accountable talk. On the left side, let's go ahead and write looks like. And the right side, go ahead and put sounds like. We're going to watch this short video where students brainstorm together before writing. While you're watching the video, think about what accountable talk looks like and what accountable talk sounds like. Now that you've had a chance to see accountable talk in action, let's go ahead and read a little bit about the special role of discussion, which can be found in the California ELA-ELD framework. So if you can please just search California ELA-ELD framework and go to chapter 2. Please read lines 1015 to 1074. And while you're reading, please add to your accountable talk T-chart and think about what accountable talk looks like and what accountable talk sounds like. Then we'll debrief at the end. You probably have a lot of evidence by now about what accountable talk looks like and sounds like. Let's share your conclusions with the person next to you. But while you're talking, please use a sentence starter such as, based on what I read, or according to the video, just to get a feel for how we want our students to interact. Now we are going to wrap this up using the fishbowl strategy. This strategy allows students to engage in a discussion while being accountable for active listening and practicing the skill of making evidence-based claims. This is a great strategy to use when you have a fantastic group that could model for the rest of the class what accountable talk looks like. We begin by forming a small group in the center. This inner circle will engage in a conversation, listening and building on each other's ideas. For our activity, please discuss what you wrote on your T-chart and share the evidence about what accountable talk looks like and what accountable talk sounds like. Everyone else moves their chairs to form a large circle around the fishbowl. This outer circle observes and takes notes on key points that were supported with evidence. Then in the end, we'll debrief. People on the outside circle, listen and see if you hear the sentence frames that shows that they're using evidence from the text. Now that we're done, let's reflect. Did you follow the dimensions of accountable talk in your conversations? Were you accountable to the learning community? Did you listen, restate, and build on each other's ideas? Were you accountable to accurate knowledge? Did you explain and support your statements? And were you accountable to rigorous thinking? Did you incorporate knowledge from multiple sources? And did you challenge each other by asking questions? If so, then you followed the dimensions of accountable talk. Here are a few instructional strategies that could be incorporated to help us increase accountable talk in our classrooms. Some of these we know well, and others we may want to give a try, such as 10 and 2, chunk and chew, think, pair, share, think, write, pair, share, where they write before they actually share, reciprocal teaching or literature circles, talking tokens, expert groups, also popular in GLAD, fishbowl, and inside-outside circles, which is similar to parallel lines. In conclusion, what will you modify, add, or delete in your practice in order to increase accountable talk in your classroom? Please turn and talk to a neighbor. As we think about accountable talk, which of the 4 C's would we be tapping into? Hopefully you said all of them. Accountable talk also ties in nicely with our district's focus on active participation, which increases the retention of what we are learning in our classrooms. When students engage in accountable talk, we are preparing them for college, career, and citizenship. Are there any questions or comments? Feel free to go to this website where you can find this presentation and other resources on accountable talk.